All right, hey everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. And how's it going? Thanks for coming, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. All my channel members. Look at that. Almost everybody in the chat, channel member. That's just amazing. Thank you all so much. Thank you. Thank you. Hopefully, if there's anything I could do to make, you know, channel membership even better, just let me know. You can let me know here. You can let me know in Discord. I'll try. I'll try. Anyway, I know everybody wants more winning trades, but let's be honest. Like that's a difficult thing, and um, yeah. So remember, coming up today, 5 p.m. Eastern. 5 p.m. is my 30 minutes of awesome show. I have to be honest, that show has declining attendance, and if the trend continues, like nobody shows up, like it's hard to do the show. Like the whole show, the whole premise of the show is to do requests, and while I've been going longer than ever, the attendance has been lower than ever. At least lower than, gosh, we've been doing it for over 3 years now, and the attendance is back to like first year kind of numbers. And well, I mean, is the juice worth the squeeze? So that's so to speak. If it's not popular, you can let me know. If you just don't enjoy it, I mean, everybody loves more content, right? More content, more. I want more, more, more. But in reality, if you're not going to show up, is it worth my time? Anyway, just throwing that out there for you. Those of you attending can let me know. And is Bitcoin going up today? I don't know. You tell me. Is it? Looks like we're off the lows. We're up 1,850 bucks so far on the futures. And I kind of came up with this idea last night. What if all settlements for all transactions? I've kind of talked about this in the past if you've been following me for a while, but I thought it was maybe smart to revisit it. What if all transactions were kind of backed by crypto, like all property transactions, like the chain of title, instead of having to dig through books down at the register of deeds? What if all that chain of title was all of a sudden put into crypto? Like that's the power of blockchain technology. When we talk about blockchain, it's not just about financial transactions necessarily. It's a chain of record of something. It's kind of like we were talking about last week. I think it was last week, how there's 21 million Bitcoins, and those Bitcoins never move. Like you can't go cash them out and hold a Bitcoin. Like that's not, they never move. They're all held on the register, that blockchain. Like they're held in the ledger and they never move. Now, the ledger is a giant accounting thing, and we're like, oh, well, that one right there goes over in this column and that column, and there's unlimited columns. And it's like almost like a giant spreadsheet. Like, oh, this Bitcoin goes over here, that one goes over there, and so what it is, it's really a distributed ledger, and everybody everybody participates in it. Whether you hold Bitcoin or you run the computers or you're just somebody on the network that watches them zip by, you're a participant in this network, and there's no restrictions on it. So what if all of a sudden we decided that it'd be pretty good to have all the property set up into a blockchain that can be infinitely divisible, so you could sell any little piece to anybody and you could amass it and have big chunks. And so this is a concept. Where do I think crypto technology is really going? Maybe into something like that, some kind of tracking. You could essentially track the creation of something from its mining origins out through, final product, all with crypto and the ledger, being able to track that ledger. You could do authenticity of products and stuff like that. Potentially, we'd have to figure out how to solidly relate physical items in the real world with the digital ledger, but it's all potential. And it's, to me, it's a really interesting concept, and that could create huge demand in the future. But again, how many cryptos does this really support? And when we look at the number of cryptos out there, I'll look over the screen here, roll up, there's 2.4 million cryptos. If you haven't seen this before, Right here, look, 2.4 million cryptos. You think we need 2.4 million to define all the different things? I mean, maybe. I think a lot of these are pointless, and maybe we need a few hundred. And there's 762 exchanges, so this is a very difficult market, but a potentially expansive market. I mean, we could digitize stocks. And right now we have DTTC or DTCC. It's the clearing company, and they kind of do this. Like they usually when a stock underwrite, when an underwriter underwrites stock for a company, all the stock goes to like DTCC, and they hold it, and then they create digital certificates that they release to the exchanges, and then those get sold. And so every transaction we have is not actual the stock; it's a digital certificate of the stock. If you go Google this, you'll go down a rabbit hole that no stock actually exists, and there are no real holders. It's really mind-boggling. I've said that a lot lately. Bottles up all your thoughts in a bottle, So you could have, yeah, that's right, David. You could have instant settlement if we converted it all over to blockchain. It's kind of an interesting concept, really. All financial transactions. I mean, that's, maybe it takes creating a block. That block could be instant. It could be 5 minutes, could be 10 minutes in the case of Bitcoin. But, all these technologies could be applicable to real world transactions where we have problems of that authentication. And I thought it was an interesting topic. You can let me know if you like this conversation this morning, or if it's just like, just give me the stocks. I don't care. I appreciate the feedback either way. I know that several of you are like, whatever interests you, talk about it. But not everybody feels that way. So feedback is how I know what you like and what you don't like. So I appreciate it. And if you don't know how to chat on the stream while I'm live, click the button down there on the other side. Be a subscriber on the channel. A few seconds later, you can chat right on the live stream. And if you're tuning in after I'm no longer live, leave a comment down below. Let me know what you're thinking. And otherwise, you can come hang out in Discord. Links in the description. It's like $5 to get in there. You can buy the market roadmap. But anyway, I digress. So before we talk about trades, all trading involves a substantial risk of loss. Past performance not necessarily indicative of future results. It means I predict stuff. Maybe it comes true. Maybe it doesn't. I may never get lucky again. And this presentation is intended to be informational, educational, fun, entertaining, not a recommendation to be buying or selling any financial instruments. So that means no stocks, options, bonds, forex, futures, cryptos, treasuries. Don't long them, don't short them, don't trade them. There's a substantial risk of loss if you're trading, right? I'm not talking about investing. That's not really what I do. I'm not a long-term investor for the most part. I'm a trader looking for short-term opportunities. If you desire personal financial advice, you want somebody to just tell you what to do, you're going to have to consult a financial advisor. You got to hire them and consult them, and they have a fiduciary duty to give you advice based on your financial situation. It's required by law now. And tomorrow we have CPI. So this is a market moving event right here. What are we going to get? That's a good question. We came in a little spicier. This might be the trough right here. I'm not sure. We could push it on down. That's a 2.6, year over year, roughly 2.6% inflation. They were talking about it being sticky. I think possibly we might push it back up into the 3. As we do rate cuts, guess what? Things get more expensive. Money gets more loose. Things get more expensive. This whole thing we're doing, our whole economy is based on the fact that we need more money. It kind of ties into here. Like, these can't keep climbing if there's not more money in the system. All right? It's kind of funny that way. Like, these can't keep going up if the money supply doesn't keep going up. That's the only way we can, we've already sucked all the money out of the system and put it into stuff like this. The only way that these can keep going up is if we increase the money supply. And what does increasing the money supply do? Causes inflation. And there you go. I've never listened to you, and when I was not entertained, I always enjoyed it. There you go. Thanks, David. And so this is one of those things. Like it's kind of like, it's one of those like cart and horse situations, right? Inflation hurts, but because we did this right here, we now have the money in the system to be able to have these being at all-time highs. And, a lot of it went into this one right here. A lot of it came into that one right there. We didn't see any of the other top dogs flow off the top. And we're seeing this one down here catching a bid. Can it rally up? It's interesting numbers here. So when you look at these two, the ones at the top, not likely to double again. And I say this a lot, but it kind of hits the point home. Like if you're focused here and you need this to double, that's going to take a lot of money. We got to have probably a lot of inflation or a lot of things down at the bottom. And very quickly we drop out of the trillions and even drop into the low billions. So there's not, the concentration is very high right now. This is not very well distributed through the market. In fact, you get down to number 15 on the list and you quickly drop $200 billion right there, out of $1 trillion down to 800 billion. So it's very concentrated up here on the biggest assets. And for something like Bitcoin to go up 10x, it would be bigger than gold, right? For this to go to 1 million, where does $18 trillion come from to push that up? Right, a lot of people don't talk about this, but where does $18 trillion come from? Do you see $18 trillion in here? I don't. I mean, you can say, oh, it comes from the rest of the world, but okay. Where's the biggest country for money? Where's the most money tied up? Even foreign investors, where do they put their money? The U.S. markets. Where's $18 trillion to be able to push that up 10x? Where's $2 trillion to be able to push that up 2x? So, limited upside. It's going to be a struggle to get from here to the top of this list. That's what I would say. I don't think it can happen fast at this point. I think the days of blasting this up here very quickly, kind of probably on the, in the history, in the rearview mirror at this point. So, looking at the calendar, CPI, it's kind of like a necessary evil. And the thing that the politicians and the Fed, and they let it slip every now and then, but the thing they don't really ever say is the solution, the only real solution to our debt problem is to inflate the debt away so that $30 trillion is no big thing. But the problem is, to create the inflation, we have to create more debt. So it's like we're stuck in a rock and a hard place at the moment. This has worked for years and years to just inflate, and that debt's no big deal. But we suddenly got where the debt was growing faster than GDP. Now it's a problem. Creating inflation doesn't, like, we're at a higher climb speed on the debt than we are on the GDP. We need to get that back inverted, as they show on Top Gun. So anyway. So if all Bitcoin are known, how can anyone steal them? They can't technically steal them. Now, somebody can hack your wallet and do a transaction. It's very similar to somebody faking your identity and doing, taking a car loan out in your name. And somebody pops on, It's like anything else. If somebody hacked your Gmail account and sent an email in your name, how do you take it back, right? How do you convince people that wasn't you? As far as crypto goes, once the transaction is done, it's part of the official ledger, and there's no backwards, there's no back, there's no back button in crypto. Once it's part of the ledger, it's part of the ledger forever, and that's why it's such a problem. So nobody actually steals crypto, and if you notice, the government gets a lot back. They've been able to recover quite a bit from all these scams and giant thefts and stuff like that. So it's just one of those. It's one of those interesting things. Now, there are truly anonymous cryptos out there, but most of the cryptos don't actually move around. You're not actually holding anything in your wallet. Your wallet's just a kind of like the address to the piece of the ledger where your coins are. And for those of you that have, let's see, trying to remember the, gosh, I used to have a, I guess this place. You can dive in here and look at all the different transactions that happen on all these different coins. They have Coin Explorer. They have there's like a Transaction Explorer. They have, Solana usually has one. I mean, everybody has one, and you can dive in and look at the actual transactions as they occur. And you can actually do it a little bit on CoinMarketCap. Come in here. Let's see. I gotta turn my drawing tool off. And I know the meme coins, particularly these little guys right here. And you can actually look at these transactions happening right here. You can click on one. Then Solana scan right here. You can actually look at where it came from, where it went to. Transferred from this wallet to this wallet. That much. You can actually dig through and look at the contracts that were executed with the transaction. I mean, all this is public, like all these transactions right here. Fee payer, who was the payer, who was the signer. And this is pretty interesting stuff, really. I mean, it's all public. It just doesn't have an application where everybody wants to use it right now. It's almost like a giant proof of concept right now that doesn't have a, I mean, you can say, yeah, there's money tied up into it, blah, 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 blah. But we're not moving physical goods tied to this yet. But once we do, it's like a game changer on the whole system, I feel like. Once physical goods get tied into some of the cryptos, that's where real value starts coming out of these. And you'd be like, well, there's tons of cryptos that are trying to do that, but there's no mass adoption yet. But one day there will be. I'm pretty sure that one day there will be, and then all of a sudden it just cracks this baby wide open. And so none of the Bitcoins, have moved off of the exchange. They're all are off the ledger. They're all there and trackable. You can see where every Bitcoin is in every wallet. And there's lots of people that do a lot of research on these. And it's like the number of wallets participating. That's a big thing. And right here, you can go check out Wallet Explorers right down here. Explorers, blockchain info. There you go. I mean, you can dig through and look at all the different wallets that are out there. Go see who's got the most Bitcoin, which wallet, it's quite interesting, I feel like. And there's other places for we can see, where is it? They have the top 100 richest wallets have 3 million Bitcoin in them. The top wealth distribution, the top 10 have 5.6% of all the Bitcoin. The top 100 have 15% of all the Bitcoin. The top 1,000 addresses have 32% of all the Bitcoin. The top 10,000 people have 55% of all the Bitcoin. How many addresses are richer than one Bitcoin, one US dollar? 47 million. How many have more than 100 US dollars? 23 million. This is not big numbers. 47 million is not a lot of participants in the Bitcoin network. Think about it. Everybody says, like, how can Bitcoin get any bigger? There's, think about it. If 47 million, that's barely 10% of the United States population. And this is worldwide. Now, while it's richer than 10,000, we're dropped down to 4 million. Active addresses in the last 24 hours, there's been 856,000. Only 856,000 have been active in the last 24 hours. There's not, everybody thinks this is widespread participation, but this is not widespread participation yet. At least, not to me. And we can even go look at Ethereum over here. You can look at all, it doesn't have mining anymore. Turn that off. So it's kind of wild. We've had 874,000 blocks in Bitcoin, and we've had 21 million blocks in Ethereum. You can go do this on all the different. Look at Doge. How many wallets in Doge are richer than $1? Only 3 million, 3.5 million. Wealth distribution. The top 10,000 addresses have 90% of all the Doge. It's kind of interesting, right? Yeah. What are the same statistics in US dollars? Can't mine that out. We don't know. US dollars aren't one of the things I can pick up here. XRP, that's one that people have been hyped up on, but we don't have a lot of the information here. It doesn't give us a lot of the details here on this tool anyway. But there's still 55% of the XRP. Like, people are really hyped up on XRP. XRP, it's going to $100. Think about that. For XRP to go to $100, has to go up 50x. So it has to take the market cap from 124 billion, 50x. Just simple math. Not even, do anything crazy. 124 times 50. $6.2 trillion. Is that realistic? Bitcoin, only $1.9 trillion. Can XRP get to $6.2 trillion? I would doubt it, at least in a reasonable time frame. So be careful out there what the hype that you read on the internet, especially about crypto markets. All right, let's look at what's moving today, shall we? Enough about crypto for the moment. S&P. Look at the overnight action. Still a little soft here. Still a little soft. I drew these zones yesterday. If anybody remembers, we had the 30-minute roadmap line that didn't hold. We had the 1-hour roadmap line that so far didn't hold. Draw, please. Draw. There it goes. Look, what did we do? Look, broke down. We tested, broke down through. Retesting from the bottom. Remember what this one was? Oh, you're welcome, David. Thanks for coming and tuning in, being here. And anybody remember? Four-hour. Maybe. Things are indicating we're being a little soft here. And then daily on down here. Maybe I should draw that box too. Man, talk about this thing being slow today. There it is. I got that box. So if we get below this one, this is the 4-hour. We've already gone through the 30-minute, the 1 hour. Here's the 4-hour. 4-hour support. If we get below that, that's a lot of airspace for a correction. Maybe like, no, this market's only going up. Well, that certainly wasn't only going up. That wasn't only going up. That wasn't only going up. That wasn't only going up. We do corrections. They tend to last a few days at the minimum. It's been over 200 and like 208, 210 days, market days, since we've had a 5% correction. And are we due? Look, 4-hour. Just wasn't even that long ago, right there, November 18th. Right there, beginning of November. Every couple weeks, we come visit this thing. Got close, hit it, hit it, hit it. We're probably going to come revisit this. It's just the way the markets work. Now, where is the 5% correction? It's been over 200 days. That was dun, 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 way back here. 5% correction. The last one right there. Remember that? July through October last year. That was the last big, more than 5% correction. We haven't done one since then. Even this one was, I don't know how they do that, but this one didn't count for whatever reason. So maybe it's 5% a day. I don't remember how it works. Anyway, crazy statistic, but we're likely to do a big pullback again. We're getting there. I mean, just look at the daily. We come visit, we expand, we come visit, expand, come visit. This is on log scale, so when you go off a log scale, those pullbacks, they happen. All right, that's the way markets move. This one over here was a nice long one. This one over here, very calm, but look how much it regularly came down to the daily. We've changed to an accelerated climb rate too. Like if you look at these here, relatively calm. Then we started doing something more exponential, and we got a big correction. Then we started doing more aggressive up and bigger correction. Even more aggressive up. Guess what? Gonna be a bigger correction sometime out in the future. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Yeah, already turning red again. I do expect this to flush on down. In fact, I put a position on I bought a 6,000 strike put, sold a 5,600 strike put underneath it, which is all the way down here. Look at that. Very strategic here. Bought here, sold here, out to January, looking for a bigger move. But it's sitting out there. I just have one. Just one. It is in the futures, not in SPX. Why futures? I can close it basically 24 hours a day. And that's why. If we get a big flush overnight, we're in the pre-market on one of these news releases, I can close it. NQ, let's look at the same situation here. We dropped through the 15-minute and kind of found support at the 30-minute. We didn't really drop on through down to the 1 hour yet. So NASDAQ, tech, big tech, still showing strength compared to the broader market. This is a very broad market. To me, broad market indicator. NQ is big tech, pretty centralized on big tech. So we have support right there, that 21.4. Funny enough, that was the number I was looking for a long time. It could find support here, break back higher. There's the resistance, and go on up. So this may be one to keep an eye on, and this could go higher. It's possible this goes higher while this one goes lower. Russell, on the other hand, small caps. You remember me talking about this low over here? I was like, I don't think that's the lowest low yet. And looky here. Now we're lower. Thought that was an interesting rejection of going lower, but now we are lower. Right there. So now this can wrap up maybe between here and here if it's going to get a significant retrace off this action. Pull this down. So it could go as low as here. So the zone to watch is going to be right on a bounce, right in there. Bring my alert down. As we decline, yeah, keep it right there for now. I think we'll bounce here, but if we start breaking down below that level, another alert there, start breaking down there, we can go on down. 4 hour. We're right at it. Imagine that. We may do a little poke through. So this is one to watch right here. If this doesn't hold on the 4 hour, we just start slicing on through. The daily is on down there pretty significantly. I think this is just a minor correction for the markets. Now, these are some bigger moves. We were kind of hyped up here off the Trump bump or whatever you want to call it. This is looking like we're going to correct for maybe into Christmas, maybe even through Christmas. So we could see a correction. Then this could even go through the inauguration. Even this could take out into January for all these to kind of correct. NQ not showing the weakness yet, but this could continue on through. We could do this on into January. Possibly even out here to the inauguration. Right there. Oh, dang, missed it by 1 day. Oh, come on. Hopping days. Come on, where's the... That's goofy. It would not let me... Now I can't go out in them. Come on now. That's weird. Skips that day. That's weird. Is the market closed on the 20th? That's MLK Day, right? Yeah. Futures will be open, though. So that's weird. They'll make a candle that day. Anyway. There we go. We could potentially do something like this through that inauguration. Then we get a new high. And then the big problems happen. There's kind of your roadmap, potential roadmap here. Just looking at what we got right now. This looks like we may do this. Then we'll do this. And then that's probably it. Somewhere right up in here. Possibly size 6,600. And then below 4 before we go above 7. That's what I think we're doing. And everyone wants to know the why. Like the why right now. That's what I think. That's what I think happens up here that causes this. Right there. Now we could just rock and roll higher. The CPI could come out and everything's great, and we just go from here to here. And then, like there's a kind of a wall right here. So all right, let's get into what's moving today. What can we take advantage of? So watch for support to break. Support breaks. We're going down. So far, oil holding that trend line. We tested through, but back to it. Watch these lows. We start breaking them. We're flushing down on oil. GC. Oh, look at that breakout. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Maybe I should have held. Yeah, maybe. You play that shoulda, coulda, woulda game, you know? Like, we were in the gold rush trade yesterday. Got us out for profit. It's like, whoo, dodged the bullet right there. Never know what's coming the next day. If we can break above this, though. Probably going on up. That's what I've been talking about for weeks. So this looks pretty good. Pretty good setup so far. Nice potential. We've got the nested 1 2 1 2 1 2 as a one, basically a retrace. And we popped up and retraced again. And we did a little baby retrace in there. So we're set to break out. Like if we get the daily close above this right here, rock and roll, baby. Probably going higher. One I don't usually talk about on the daily, on the morning show. This one, look where we are. Right there. If we get above it, 36, 37. Very nice, very nice. And, if you're like, how do you even play gold and silver? GLD, that's a way. Ugly. Play that way. How do you play silver? SLV. How do you do it? Leverage. Let's see, AQC, ACQ. I can't remember that one. AGQ. Yeah, oh, AGQ. There it is. Got to remember my AG. This can break above here. Be shooting up here. Very nice. Very nice. There you go. There's different ways to play gold and silver. Bitcoin just churning. Churning, burning. Next highs, I expect this to pop up into the 115 to 120, 115 to 120,000 area and consolidate in that zone for a little bit. The top, I probably expect to top out right here. And it may be fast. Could be quick. We could only have a few days in this zone. 170,000 is the ideal target. This is the conservative target. Very close. I'm a conservative and my ideal target. Right there. There is a possibility that we could rally all the way up here on some kind of really craziness. But again, that takes a lot of trillions of dollars to do that. Remember this chart over here, or these numbers over here, to go up to 300,000. It's going to take $4 trillion pouring into this. It makes this $6 trillion bigger than, basically the second biggest asset in the world. have to leapfrog up here to do that. If it does, I think there's widespread disruption. I think we could easily get up to 50% higher. 50% higher, that's just in the 3 trillion club, just right in here with these guys. Puts us right in this neighborhood. And then we'll probably do crypto winter. Ether. Boy, that talk about a rejection breaking out. Rejected that March high really strongly. Back to retesting this consolidation area. If we hold it, probably going up to the all-time high very quickly. We can break above that. Going on extensions. 6,000, kind of my target area right up here, where I expect us to rock and roll right up to when we break out all-time high. All-time high, just a reminder, right around 4,900. Why am I looking at futures? Because they're a certified price. All these exchanges have different prices. There's arbitration between them to try to keep them in balance, but they're all independent exchanges. That's kind of the way crypto works. It works a lot like Forex, if you're unfamiliar with that. Forex trades different at every different, you get these quotes on exchange rates for different Forex, but they're all independent depending on the dealer. That's why it seems like the airport screws you and you go look at the real market and it's different if you're traveling internationally. Yeah, because the airport's market's separate from every other market. So these right here, there is balance between them. I like to look at the futures market because it's a certified price. It's certified by the CME. It's a CME product right here, Chicago Mercantile Exchange. So, but they are closed for a couple, for an hour every day, and then they're closed over the weekend for a day, 2 days almost, 48 hours, but it's, skewed. They're open Sunday night. And crypto can move freely when the futures market's closed, so they don't fully represent all the price action. But it is a certified price. Dollar rallying back up a little bit. I thought we'd see a little rally, maybe back up to this zone before we cruise on down. NKD, just still churning. Global liquidity indicator. If we can break out through this downtrend of highs, probably going cruising up to 44,000, and this will take the U.S. markets with it. This is another piece to keep an eye on if we start breaking down below the bottom of this box, indicating a bigger flush in global liquidity right there. All right, so I go in the pre-market, I grab everything moving up $2 or more, put it on the gainers list, down $2 or more, put it on the decliners list. And we got an alert for Wolf. Down 10%. Not really much. Wolf speed. Look at that decline. Probably going down. I don't know why I got that alert. Coming on down. And it's not going negative, so got to put it in log mode. Oh, looky here. It could be testing this $5 area and finding support to bounce. Gonna have to break through the roadmap line to indicate we're going up bigger. So on a log mode, this looks like a potential nice upside that could take it up. Look at the numbers, the crazy numbers. Craziness potential. Now it also could bust and go to zero. ML. So the first one on the list, Money Lion, alternate money solutions. This looks pretty bad though, right? Here was this back stuff over here. Maybe like, wait, SPACs don't usually start at 400. Yeah, that means there's a reverse split hiding in here somewhere. There it is, 30 for 1. Makes it already questionable. Then we took that SPAC money, we ground it into the ground, we did the reverse split, and then for some reason everybody thinks it's okay again. Hey, money line suddenly went up 30 times, 30x. Well, if you believe that fixed all the problems, guess what? Probably going to get another correction. This potentially could be working on a 5 up, potentially, but it's when we top out, possibly right in here, we're probably going to do a larger retrace back down in here at some point in the future. Something like that. If we're not in the correction now, we're likely to start doing it on a pop. Eli Lilly. Kramer had an interesting thing. He said people are overweight AI and underweight pharmaceuticals like Lilly. That right there is a bounce off the roadmap line from below and can easily result in a lower low. Now we could break on through, fill the gap, and go up. Right now, this is the higher probability path until we get through the gap. Throwing that out there. Just throwing that out there. MSTR, as Bitcoin goes, MSTR is going to go. Now, this has me a little concerned. And if you're long MSTR, this should have you concerned. All right. We did an exponential up. We're consolidating below the all-time high. It would be a wise idea to put some kind of trend line in here and put alerts on it. If we start breaking below that, this thing can go down very quickly. Why do I say that? See this pattern right here. A lot of euphoria, a lot of excitement. Get a consolidation down in here. There's that trend line I was just talking about. If we break it, it's a very common pattern in the markets. Very common pattern. Look back over here. Let's go back a couple years. This one took a little while. See it right here? Right? Everybody see it? Everybody see it? Everybody see it? You let me know in the chat if you don't get it. If you don't understand what I'm trying to tell you. I do have a target that's on up there. We may go up higher before we do this. The problem, the thing you never know is that the top? Was that the top right there? You never know for sure until we break down below the trend line. Was that the actual top, or is it one of these? And then we're rocking and rolling higher. What is one of these? And we still have upside to go. All right, was it one of those? Or are we doing this part? And then very common when we had a year ago. Turn off my drawing tool. A year ago, we were doing this consolidation. Came into January, broke out, rock and rolling higher. I said if we get to 1200, this had a regular split, so it's 10 for 1 reduced prices now. To be able to look at it, we could go SMCI times 10 and put it back at the prices we were at. All through here in this area, I said if we get to 1200, it might be a wise idea. And maybe even I said if we get above 1000, it would be a wise idea to try to buy $800 puts as far out as you possibly can, because this is highly likely to come all the way back down to this zone right here. That's why there's an orange box right there. And looky over here. Right there, we did it. Took the whole thing back. Now, I went a little more aggressive, and I thought this was my channel, but actually it took a little bit longer to develop the channel. This was actually the channel. That was the hot top. We kind of came down. We consolidated way longer than I thought. Well out into the summer, and I ran out of time. And then we started down into the abyss. Now, it's possible that this was it. That was it. We took back the bubble. Game over. But we're respecting the roadmap line right now, and this can easily come back down, make a lower low. So, just throwing that out there as a dangerous potential chart, and this one possibly could get delisted. So, sorry to beat a dead SMCI and look at the mouth, but there you go. ASML, find a resistance at the top and may come back to the bottom. I just think it's important to, like, since bubbles are so common in the market right now, this bubble pattern, I call it the bubble pattern. Since this bubble pattern is so common in the market right now, it's caution. Don't get caught up. Don't get caught up in the complacency. Don't get caught up in here. Yeah, MSTR, be careful. If we're doing this part, watch out for there. It's not about being wrong that costs you big money. It's about staying wrong and riding it all the way back to the bottom. That's where you lose the big money, especially if you double down or triple down or quadruple down in between here. You can lose big money riding it into the bottom. All right. If you're proven wrong, when we break below the trend, this channel of corrective channel, when we break below it, get out. Get the fudge out, right? NAMS. Wow. Pharmaceuticals. So there's 4 things I don't care for. One of those, pharmaceutical, biotech, medtech, specialty, any of the stuff the Food and Drug Administration of the United States is involved in, pharma. I don't care for it because it doesn't always follow the patterns. It just can do some crazy stuff. Some people can argue with me, but I've commonly found that sometimes we just take a right turn at Albuquerque, or a U-turn at Albuquerque, and we don't do the patterns. So it makes it incredibly difficult for me to chart predictions on biotech. Also, things that kind of do crazy stuff, equities under $10. So this used to be equity under $10. Typically, when things are low priced, they can they have different rules of the game. There's not widespread trading. A lot of the market participants are limited from trading things under $10, and we see weird things happen on those equities under $10. That doesn't flow into futures or cryptos or anything like that. It's just equities. That's just U.S. listed equities. And so that's 2 things. Number 3 is leverage stuff. When we see stuff like UGLY, Ultra Gold. Anytime you see Ultra in the name, that means leveraged. You see something like SPXL and you see 3x, 2x, 3x, 1.5x. You see one of these in the name, that means leverage. They don't always follow the patterns. All right. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Some are more reliable than others. Like this one right here, Ultra, VIX, very much goes towards 0 all the time because the cost of maintaining this Ultra leverage on VIX, this thing trends towards 0. Can you just buy puts and make money? No, because the market knows it trends towards 0. It's not a surprise. You haven't figured out some sort of magic that the market doesn't already know about. So they price the puts accordingly, and you can't really make great money. All right. So leverage stuff, low price stuff, biotech pharma, and the last one, China stuff, because they have a different rules. Their rules of accounting for the U.S. markets are just different than the rest of the players, and they don't always follow the patterns. So those 4 things, caution you. So if you see one of these come up and I'm talking about it, caution, it may not work. You know, FNGU, 3x leverage, may not work, but the target is 627. Google, the Class C shares are a little less reliable on the targets than the Class A shares, but this is starting to tip the odds. We may rally on up here to 200 now that we're breaking above the gap down. If we can get that daily close in here, 200, possibly 207. GOOGL, a little bit more reliable. And there's the target up there at 199, possibly 206. They're not interchangeable. Be careful. See, they have different prices, different targets, just slightly. QURE. Let's see what we got. Zoom out, zoom out. Whew. Gap down right there. That's going to be the resistance. May come up there and fill the gap down. Or reject off the gap. Fill the gap up and then reject. That's what I'm talking about. Say the words in the right order. Coin, upside targets, 427. And my bigger picture target that I'd love to see for me personally, 500. Yang, this is one that tends to trend towards 0. Got a reverse split right there. Leverage, 3x leverage. T-Mobile. It's T-Mobile Tuesday. You can go get you a free glass at the store. Saw that on the app this morning. That looks like we're going to do a correction. T-Mobile. So Elon, if you didn't pay attention, Elon tweeted, I think it was Friday, that the direct-to-cell constellation is now complete. Phase 1. This is very exciting. This means that there will be no non-coverage zones in the United States for T-Mobile customers when they turn that on if you're on the plan that accepts direct-to-cell communication. Like out in the middle of the lake, no big deal. You got coverage. Out in the middle of the woods, no big deal. You got coverage. If you can see the sky, you got coverage. And this could be very big for T-Mobile. SpaceX's partner in direct-to-cell communication. You'd be like, well, Apple's got that. Not the same. We're talking about phone calls and data. Phone calls and data, like not just SMSs. Ollie's, man, compared to other things in this segment, I would put Ollie's in the same kind of market segment as Dollar General, dollar stores. This one is outperforming compared to like DG and DLTR. Ollie's is rocking and rolling. Great stuff, cheap. It's my dad's favorite store. AOK. Now, where is it going? That's a good question. We're at targets, so we may invite a correction, but it could be done with the bigger picture target or correction over here. This monthly chart pullback right here. This high, this low. Upside targets 144, 167, possibly 250 up here. ALK, Alaska Air Group. Trying to bust through this downtrend of highs. Get through it. We can go up higher. $129, $159. I know I'm looking at a big picture, but sometimes that's what you got to do. Got to look at the big picture. Where is this likely to go? If we really, it's probably do some twists and turns and pullbacks on the way. MSTU, 2x leverage on MSTR. Be extra vigilant here. Extra cautious. Dave, up at resistance. Targets. Pull back to the roadmap line. Back to support would be in order. Cold. Just churning right on the roadmap line. Interesting, there is an inversion. This is This is the earliest we've ever seen the inversion. The April contract for natural gas is more expensive than the March contract. So we're talking about NG, trying to get my months right, H, NGH 2025. Look at that. That doesn't look like the chart we were just looking at. So winter, as the end of winter natural gas is plummeting at a faster rate than summer natural gas. It's kind of interesting. Big discrepancy there between the current contract. I can't remember April's letter for futures. Look that up really quickly. Month codes for futures. Sometimes Google knows what you're looking for. So April is J. Go look at NGJ 2025. Look at that. That March contract. So summer gas, like so far, prices for gas going into the summer are higher than coming out of the winter. Interesting situation. This is the earliest in the last decade that this has started doing this, plummeting out. Usually, as we approach the end of heating, as we get into the winter, January, February, we start seeing this. But right now, this is really early. We haven't even really gotten into official winter yet. It's still like almost 2 weeks away. 10 days away, 11 days away. Interesting. All right, and let's turn back off natural gas. Google 2x leverage. That might be a bet. If you want to play cheaper way to get 2x on Google, if it pops up there, 55. That's a 25% upside. Not bad. MSTX, and there's no cost of holding. Now this one, leveraged on MSTR. I am holding this. I have a cost basis of 94 on my shares, so I'm slightly underwater today. I'm very much watching this. Remember that trend line. MU. Just churning on the roadmap line. No indication we're going to do anything. Unify. United. Natural Foods. This has a large gap down. We're going to have to contend with right there. BA. Working on that reversal. If we can break out above the roadmap line, game on. Bigger uptrend. Long-term, big picture, years-long upside potential going to 600. Connell. It's a leverage on coin. If Bitcoin can pop it, this one probably going up to around 100. FSLR. Rejecting the roadmap line, despite being on the poppers list. Still has a date with lower prices, I think. Potentially down here. BitU. This is Ultra Bitcoin leveraged. Bitcoin. If Bitcoin pops it, we're popping. If Bitcoin drops it, we're dropping. Simple as that. BitX, same story, 2x. I do have a sizable position in this. People are like, how do you even catch some of Bitcoin? Here's the way. Buy some shares of this. You can buy 1 share. You can buy 100 shares. You can buy 1,000 shares. It may not get 2x performance. But if Bitcoin has 50% upside left to go, this should double, which puts it right there. And if we get lucky and we get 3x or something like that performance on Bitcoin, guess what? This one going up 6x. And that'd be 360. So $60 goes to 360. Not a bad shake. Should you do it? Shoot, no. I'm not telling you anything to do. You may lose all your money. Sorry to inform you, your kids are stupid. Anyway, probably going to retrace back to the roadmap line in full. These are the decliners. Watch for this to bounce. There's the high, potential low at the roadmap line. We could bounce, get back through the gap fill, and go on up to, oh, gosh, 900 on United Rentals. Nice. All right, next up, MDB. And struggling at that resistance. Watch for that to break down and get continuation lower. Not sure we have the setup for breaking out and going to test this downtrend of highs, but it may take a retest of that uptrend of lows before we can do it. And then there's the bigger potential. You got to be able to hold on for this. This is months, possibly years long. Yeah, definitely years long. Years long potential to go to 1,000. Ferguson Enterprises. These guys sell like wholesale mechanical equipment. And chopping sideways. No indication we're doing anything. Oracle back. Oh man, probably going for the roadmap line. It was hyped up. We need to retrace before we can go again. So look for that retrace. And a JG. Arthur. Wow, we hit some extension targets there. Retracing the roadmap line. Another potential bounce. One to keep an eye on. If we can bounce, get above this 300 area, we could go up to 322, 326. TOL. Toll Brothers. Coming on down to the roadmap line. Watch for the bounce if we can get it. Sets up a new potential. If we get it and hold it and bounce just like we did right over here. You see it right here. Do that again. Right over here. Same kind of result. Break through the 618 level and go cruising up to 173 on the upside. Sometimes the pullbacks are more beneficial than the popper. The droppers are more beneficial, but sometimes indicates like, hey, look at that. There's the bubble pattern. Look, hyped up, broke down, and look at that, lower low. Ugh, nasty. Nasty, nasty, nasty. And that is based on med in the name. I'm sure that's some kind of FDA involved thing right there. SMCX, leverage on 2x leverage on SMCI. That's, read that as danger multiplied by 2. So double danger, triple danger, quadruple danger. FUTU. Watch for the flush. So if we held the roadmap line, this can go higher. This is that high, that low. We break back above the 618, which is right up here at this 113, 115 area. We can go up to 140. So these are the areas to watch for. This right here and this right here. There's the support. Here's the resistance. Here's the upside target. And if we break down below that, there's the downside target right there. Wide range there. JOUT, Johnson Outdoors. Looks like we're going into the abyss. Low, oof, man. I wouldn't touch that with your money at this point. Doesn't look like we're done correcting that one out yet. CAT may come back to the roadmap line. It kind of needs it after that big run. We make big runs and we retrace, then we make a big run and we retrace. Could be going for another extension, but that has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up. A 3-wave retrace back to the roadmap line would be constructive for the next move higher. EDU coming up, or it came up, bounced off the roadmap line from underneath, starting down. Watch for this to come on down. PDD. Just not sure on that one. Resistance all the way up here at the roadmap line. I think it can go up to 175 if it's going to turn bullish. This is Temu, just in case you didn't know. Like, if you've seen all the commercials for Temu and that China garbage, and you're like, how could I trade that? There you go, PDD. And right now, this looks like we may flush further down. Is this the market scared on China tariffs? Tell me. Could be. Now, one thing I thought was very fascinating. I read some more in-depth analysis. Everybody's talking, even people like Amazon talking about how tariffs on China are going to be detrimental to U.S. consumers. Well, guess what? Like that in the benign thought process, that's true. Like that's the way tariffs work. But the last time Trump was in office and he put tariffs on China, China decided to eat the tariffs to maintain their competitive advantage in the U.S. market. All right. So just think about it. Like China could keep their prices low and eat those tariffs. It's possible. So even though it seems like it would be a detrimental thing, they could, take less profits just to maintain their advantage and their ownership of the U.S. markets. They make like 32% of all the goods in the whole world. So they could maintain advantage by eating the tariffs. Yen, and there's ways to get around it too, because Vietnam is specifically excluded from tariffs. So China can ship stuff into Vietnam, pretend like it's from Vietnam and ship it to the United States and avoid the tariff. The funny games they play. That happened a lot during the last Trump administration. So yen, this is another one that kind of trends towards zero over the long term. Looks a lot like the bubble pattern too, right there. And AI, C3 AI, potentially going to test into this zone right up here where we consolidated. Baidu, we came into the roadmap line yesterday, couldn't get through it, rejected. This may do a 618 retrace. That's the lowest low, so we can't really chart much off of prior price action. Holding above 85, breaking back above the roadmap line would be indicative that we're going up in a bigger way. NTES, projecting off of that downtrend of highs. Back to the roadmap line would be the expectation. CWeb. And looks like we might come back and revisit the roadmap line again. If you don't have the roadmap line, you don't understand the roadmap line, you have no idea what this orange line is I keep talking about, click on the channel name. You can go to the homepage. Free video pinned right to the homepage is my channel homepage is the market roadmap. And if you just want an easy button, throw it on your chart, some masterclass, some weekly lists that have stocks bouncing off of it, click the link in the description, $5, you can get that. Just throwing it out there as it's the best value I could possibly give you. It's a high probability pattern that just works. Now, if you want automated, like I just want to know when the setups are done, I want to know when they're good and all this stuff. Well, I got higher price things that offer those sort of things. Snowflake came up to that zone. That was the gap down zone, and we're rejecting, and we may retrace it back down here. It's been what I kind of expected for a while. We would test into this zone and then retrace it. Remember, we gapped down big from right up here and went all the way down here very quickly. People were trapped and they just want to get the fudge back out. I want to get my money back out and move on. So this will probably be a resistance zone for a while up in here. Probably take at least one good full test before we can break through it. Baba, potentially bouncing off the roadmap line, but nothing confirmed yet. May come back for another bounce before we can go. And eBay, come on eBay. This has the setup to go higher. Has a nice upside potential. Right there would be the extension. And bigger picture, bigger pattern, bigger target for this bigger correction on up here at 90. TCOM. Target. Watch for the retrace. Oil. Declining chart. AAOI. Hit extensions, doing kind of the bubbly pattern. Look for that chop and then the drop back out. And RBRK. Rubric. Oh, that was just going to be crazy. So watch for some kind of exponential move, then we'll probably come right back down. Happens over and over. MCHI. That's a lower high so far. Lower high on all these China things, Baba. Watch for it to retrace again. VOYA. Voya. That's a lot of chop. That thing just, it's almost like one of those Richter scale charts, you know, and then just makes it incredibly difficult to trade things that do that. No trend, just a slight drift higher on a very volatile chart. CQQQ, China Technology. Watch for that to retrace, like all the other China stuff. Watch for Bilibili to retrace, like all the other China stuff. FLNC. Doesn't look like we're going up at this point. That low, that high. Possibly finding support in this zone, but we haven't been able to get, there hadn't been anything to going higher yet. That's still lower highs coming down through there. And until we can break that, we may go deeper. Bonus trade for the day, ILMN. Very nice setup here. Look at this high, this low right here. Roadmap pattern. Closed above yesterday. Fires off the entry. Here's the targets right up here, 160. And I did bring some, this right here. So 160.64 official target. Stop below 128.15. Closed yesterday, 147.53 with a potential of upside of $13. This has a historic win rate of 92.3, but it's only 13 trades since 2000. So not a statistical population, but it does show it has the power to go up and a profit factor of 3. So the wins are typically much larger than the losses. 24 trading days on average to work out. That's an average, could last twice that or 3 times that, or even 5 times that. So if we go off of today's the entry, twice that, you know, basically out 70 days. So I'd get you at least 3 months on there if you're going for options, or if you're just going to do shares, no big deal. $13 upside right there. All right, that looks pretty sweet to me right there. Pretty good. Not a bad shake right there. All right. Now, bias for the day. If you're still here, thank you for sticking around with me. I know I went a little long. Talked about crypto a lot this morning. And bias for the day is to watch those levels. All right, watch those levels. Talked about it on ES. If we can get back through the 1 hour roadmap line, then we're looking back higher. You know, we go back down the time frame. So right now, we are still testing that zone from the bottom. If it breaks down below the lows, we're probably going down. If we start getting back up through this 60-80 area, there's that 30-minute roadmap line. Here's the 15-minute roadmap line. So that'll be resistance, and that'll be resistance. And we get on through, cruising on higher. Of course, this will be dropping on down. So, there you go. That's kind of what I expect today. I'll be back 5 p.m. Come hang out with me. 5 p.m. Eastern. I'll do request for at least 30 minutes. Usually it's hour and a half, 2 hours. I don't know. Have a great day, everybody. I'll see you again later.